Salam, gents. Thanks, Tula, for the reminder. Yeah, no, luckily you reminded me. I did not press the record button there. Thanks for. I will just share the screen. Good evening, gentlemen. There's no ladies on this evening, but whoever does hear this, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the day 4 of the CSA Level 3 Umpires course presented by KZN Inland Umpires Association and prepared by Western Province Cricket Umpires Association. Gentlemen, just for this evening, I do have a small request. At about 20 to 7, I'll just step out for 5 minutes. I will stop the recording, I will just step out for 5 minutes just to attend to something personal, and I will be back just at quarter two. And Yeah, we will be doing Law 41 today, which is unfair play, and we can begin with this evening's lecture. I trust everyone
Uh,
can hear.
yeah, just Mohammed. For
Yeah.
those few minutes that you are stepping out, I will still be available, so we can have then I'll have an interactive session with the rest of the attendees until you return.
Oh, Abdullah, thank you so much, Jazak. I really appreciate it. That'll be awesome. Guys, get ready, prepare your questions. We're fortunate to have Abdullah with us on the line this evening, so it'll be awesome for you guys to have an interactive session before we close. So, ladies and gents, just to begin this evening, we'll go through some of the revision questions that we went through last week. Just a heads up for Thursday, we will just be doing revision questions and just going through the revision slides. I will send the presentation to you guys so you can also just get a feel of the laws and things that may come out in your exam, as well as provide past papers. I will send that to you. Then you can also see the mark allocation and how Cricket South Africa has prepared past examinations, but just also give you an indication on how to answer a few questions. Just like any exam, be it matric examinations, past papers are the best to do. So, ladies and gents, without further ado, I am going to start. Um, I trust that everyone can hear me and there's no lag. I am connected to a rain router, so it is better. I would have stayed at work, but unfortunately, we have load shedding at the Oval now from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock. Sorry, from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. We had from two this afternoon. Ladies and gents, just to begin, revision question from last week. The bowler delivers a short pitch slower ball. The ball bounces once halfway down the pitch. The striker, seeing this, moves deep into his crease. The ball bounces a second time behind the popping crease, whereby the striker hits the ball in the air towards the mid-off fielder. The fielder catches the ball but soon realizes that the non-striker, who is the better batsman, has backed up a long way down the pitch. He throws down the wicket at the bowler's end with the non-striker short of his ground. There is an appeal by the fielding team. So we know this is not last man stands cricket, so you can only get one out. The umpire shall call and signal no ball if a ball would have considered to have been delivered without having previously touched the bat or person of the striker bounces more than once. All right, or rolls around the ground. So in this scenario, so it bounces one more than once before the popping crease. In this scenario, the ball for the second time bounced after the popping crease, so it is a fair delivery. The striker will be given out court as court takes precedence over besides balls. Court will take precedence. The non-striker will not be given run out because it's not a double play. You can't get that in normal cricket. Not that it's abnormal cricket, but you can't get double play. So if the striker is not out bowled, then he is out caught. He or she is out caught, even though a decision against either batsman, any other dismissal would be justified. So as you can see, the mark allocation will be around 3 to 4 marks. So just take note of that, especially with giving the explanation with regards to when the ball bounces. So a lot of times we'll just say that it's a fair delivery because the ball bounced, not did not bounce more than once, but state it did not bounce more than once before the pop increase. It bounced for the second time after the pop increase. So give a clear explanation with regards to that, and state why you will give the non-striker not out. Um, it's because obviously court takes precedence, etc., etc. So state that, especially when it comes to looking for marks in inverted comma, a lot of time markers do look for marks and can also see your train of thought, and in the end, those 1 or 2 half marks can help you. All right, the bowler whilst
Sorry,
delivering
Gemma.
the ball. Yes,
May I just step off for 5 minutes, please? My lights just went off. I want to go put my generator on.
no problem. I'll carry on with the revision questions. I will send you guys the recordings as well. No problem.
Thank you.
The bowler, whilst delivering the ball, accidentally breaks the wicket with his knee. The delivery hits the striker's wicket. So the non-strike. So on your end, as a it obviously the bowler broke that set of stumps with his knee, and in the delivery, the ball then goes on to hit the stumps. Okay, the Stephen Finn, as you would remember. So with all of these questions, try and put yourself in a scenario, give yourself the opportunity to be in a match situation, especially when answering these questions. So when it comes to something like this, I would I would put myself in a situation where I would remember something like Stephen Finn. So now I would, as an umpire, call and signal no ball. If either in an attempt to run out the non-striker, the bowler breaks a wicket at any time after the ball comes into play and before the completion of the stride, after the delivery stride, this shall include any clothing or other object that falls from his or her person. Daud, good question earlier. Fantastic, Vaidullah. I mean, I also have now got a better understanding of it. Like Dullah mentioned, it moved from law 41 to it was always a mode of dismissal. Like Dullah was saying, it was always a mode of dismissal, but now it's under the law of law 38, which is run out. So it's got its own sort of paragraph now, where run out the non-striker, etc. So now we do not have to ask, like Dullah mentioned, do we don't need to ask the captain, would you stand with your appeal, etc., etc. It's an appeal, he's out or she is out, you lift your finger. So none of the non-striker. This is from the presentation was prepared prior to October. So yeah, guys, just take note of that. But same instance in this case stands, where it will be a no ball, as you would call and signal no ball as soon as the bowler breaks the stumps. Because in this particular case, you could have where the batter hits the ball. And again, call and signal no ball to ensure that he in none of the modes of dismissal under no ball count, etc. All right. Same with the towel or anything. A lot of players like doing that, like using a towel on the back of their pants. Anything can happen. It could fall onto the stumps. All right. So question number one, when it comes to a scenario question, opening bowler Paul pulls up with a groin strain after his fifth over at 10:48 during a provincial 3-day match. After an on-field treatment, he leaves the field at 10:50. So he was still on the field of play, he was still on the grass for 2 minutes. There is a drinks break from 11:10 to 11:14. Okay, so 1 hour 10 minutes. There was a drinks break. For example, here he comes back onto the field of play at 11:40. All right, lunch is taken now at 12:20, and the captain tosses the ball to Paul and asks you after lunch and asks you what action. After the sorry, Captain tosses the ball to Paul to bowl the first over after lunch, and what actions will you take, if any, that are required? Okay, so you'll obviously take firstly, as soon as Paul gets injured and is the coach or the manager or physio, etc., for whatever age group you know, if it's a provincial 3D, you'll have a physio or a doctor, etc., that might come onto the field. You will take from 10:48 to 10:50. You'll also note that time. Okay. But once Paul has left the field at 10:50, you'll record that time. So the 2 minutes, will be extenuating allowances or extenuating circumstances, and that will only come into effect when there's an over it. So you'll say if you have a match ref, for example, I'll just change it to a 4-day game, just a bit of match preparation. In a 4-day game, you'll have a match referee. So in 3-day cricket, in the past, it wasn't match referees, but let's say now it was a 4-day game. Same scenario happened. Matchy, Paul is going off 11:50. But at 11:48, or sorry, at 10:48, you'd record to the matchy. Injury, physio, bang, bang. At 10:50, when he goes off, Paul is going off 10:50. Do a 2 minutes explaining time. Then you can add 2 minutes to the Excel spreadsheet that the match referee has. And as well as on the back of your card, you can keep it because at the end of every session, you'll usually work out the overrate. You'll also work out the overrate more frequently, also when they're behind. But there's also then you can work it out on field and give the captain an overrate update regularly. Okay, so Paul left the field at 11:50. So he returns at then 11:40, which is 50 minutes. So from 10:50 to 11:50 would be an hour. Now minus 10 minutes, we go to 11:40, so 50 minutes off the field. Jinx is for 4 minutes in a 4-day and 3-day game. All right, so he was off the field for 46 minutes. All right, Jinx break is a scheduled break, so you'll not count 4-0 against Paul. So you'll take the 50 minutes minus the 4 minutes. So it won't count against him. So you're not going to say it's a whole 50 minutes because it was a scheduled break. Everyone was entitled to that break in inverted commas, right? And when he returns to the field at 11:40, lunch was taken at 12:20. So he owed us 46 minutes. He gave us back 40 minutes. So, and when lunch came, all right. But after lunch, Paul still owes us a further 6 minutes. We'll take 46 minus what was played of 40 leaves you with 6 minutes. All right. And then at 1 o'clock, he comes on. And so they will come back on. So remember the 40 minutes that they were said. So you're not going to say, okay, he owes us 6 and now 40 is good to 34. You're not going to do that. When he comes on, Paul, you have 6 minutes to bowl. All right. I trust there's no lag. I do see on my phone there's a slight lag with the presentation. If anyone does have a slight lag, please do let me know and I can slow down. Okay, and then with regards to the question, then you'll inform the fielding captain because they ask what will you do. You'll inform the fielding captain. Paul can bowl 6 minutes after lunch, so at 13:06 or after. So as you can see, you'll first give even though the question was quite brief when it came to what the scenario was, what would you do in that instance? Paul came on, Paul was off for XYZ, ball got thrown to him, can he bowl? Remember, give your breakdown. This is probably maybe a 6 to 8 mark question, and you'd have something where you'd give your breakdown. Each line would give you a mark. All right. So you're not going to just you're not going to work out on a separate sheet of paper 13:06 and then just write 13:06 in the answer. Give a breakdown as to how you got to 13:06. All right. Question number 2. John pulls a hamstring at 1500 and leaves the field. T is taken at 1520. John returns to the field at 1550. At 1610, the batting captain declares and he asks you when John can bat. What is your response? So again here, just take note of how long your T interval is. Just always try and break it down. All right, so we'll go through it. John left the field at 1500, so he left at 3 p.m. And a T is taken at 1520. So at the T interval, John owes you 20 minutes. Okay. So T is only 20 minutes. So from 1520 to 1540, there's a scheduled interval. Won't count for against him. So you're not going to say, you know what, John, if you come in at 1540, you can bowl immediately or bat immediately, etc. In if they are declared during that period. But say there was now they are still bowling and comes to you and say, no, I wanna bowl immediately. T is a scheduled break. All right, so just take note. Remember that your meal. Don't remember how long your T interval is. Don't assume that your T interval is from 1520 to 1550. Just because he returns to the field doesn't mean that he returned with the whole team. All right, so John returns to the field at 1550, still owes you a further 10 minutes from 1540, which we know of penalty time. So now we're broken down 20 plus a further 10. Okay, which gives you 30. Batting captain declares at 16:10. This will be the start of the change of interval. which is 16:10 to 16:20. The interval is scheduled break and hence will not count for or against John. Okay, at 16:10, John was on the field for 20 minutes. From 15:50 when he came on, but his team came on at 15:40, but he came on 15:50 until 16:10. So he still owes us. So he played from 15:50 to 4 o'clock, 10 minutes. Then he went to 10 past 4, which is a further 10 minutes, which is 20 minutes. So he played, but he owed us 30. So he leaves us with 10. So John can bat at 16:30, which is the interval after 10 minutes after the end of the interval. All right. So he can either bat at 16:30 or have 5 wickets are down. So 5 wickets fall in that 10 minutes, which you never know. So don't assume, guys, and just put 16:30. Put or if 5 wickets are down. Like I said, if you're fighting for marks, with all due respect, this can help you guys. This could be worth half a mark. This could be worth another half a mark. Question number 3 with regards to scenario questions. All right. The striker hits the third ball of the over to fine leg and set off for a run. The batter complete 3 runs, and as they turn for the 4th run, a fielder that returns to the field without permission fields the ball. He throws the ball to the keeper just as the batters completed their 4th run. What actions will you take? So again, fielder coming on without permission. Okay. So state that. Oh, it doesn't clearly state that in the question, but put that as your opening line. If a player comes onto the back of without the umpire's permission and comes in contact with the ball whilst the ball is in play, the ball should immediately become dead. So remember, the player must come into contact with the ball. Do not state that if you see him and next thing you're going to call and signal dead ball, even though the ball might be on the other side of the field where he is. All right. So just remember, whilst the ball is in play and he or she come into contact with it. You'll award 5 penalty runs to the batting side. Runs completed by the batsman shall be scored together with the run in progress if they had already crossed the instant of the offense. So they turn for the 4th. Did they complete? Did they cross? No. The ball shall not count as one of the over. Why are you not going to make it? You're not going to impose it on the batsman. The batsman has the right to score what they feel from that ball, so they'll get another delivery. The umpire should follow the informing and reporting procedures. But like Dula mentioned, guys, last week, work with the team. Sometimes you got to work with them. You got to inform them. Sometimes there might be a lot happening, especially for the captain. If you have him at square leg and if they're getting hit, a lot of things are happening. The coach is on the side. He's in a bit of a tiz. A lot of things may be happening. And you as an umpire need to stay calm. You need to stay in the moment. Work with him. Cappy, if you see him come on, especially now, guys, as you go higher up, you'll do 4-day warm-ups, etc. The guys got names on their backs, they got numbers, etc. You'll see that. I mean, a lot of even in a 1-day game, a lot of times it can happen. So an example, I'll give you a perfect example. At the PNB Oval, everyone knows Victor Koseni. So Vic likes getting involved in a game. And with all just, he's a fantastic guy. So a lot of things might be happening where he might be getting on drinks and guys might be coming on and he's on the boundary and guys are getting injured or whatever the case may be. And someone now has returned without informing you. Work with the captain. Someone like a Mikey Erlang who was next to you, you can work with him. Mikey, I see he's on. Come on, inform me, let me know. So quietly, softly, remember in future, if it happens, we can't work together. We need to work together. So when he's going, the ball doesn't touch him by that time, the fielder per se. The fielder walking past you can say, oh, at the boundary, umpy, I'm back on. The next time the ball becomes dead. All right. Just again work with the players. The batter completed 3 runs, but did not cross yet for the fourth when the ball became dead. So the total will be 8 5 penalty runs plus 3 completed runs. Since the batter did not cross when the ball became dead, the non-striker needs to face the next delivery. All right. Since the ball does not count as one of the over, that you will state how many balls left in that particular instance. So in this case, it was 3. and write down the time, the over and ball to check at the next interval with the scorers, they inserted the correct score. So you may show 8 or however with 5 and 3 fingers, etc. And you'll show 5 penalty runs. So a perfect example when showing 5 penalty runs this this weekend, Chopper gave 5 penalty runs to the batting side. The scorers not realizing this happened, not realizing this happened, guys. Chopper was waiting with his hand on his shoulder, tapping his shoulder for quite a while. So again, after a while, Chopper saw the light go, but maybe one scorer only saw it. But again, it was signaled, move on. But as soon as the interval came, Chopper went on to the radio, asked Katso to check with the scorers. Scorers, did you get that? Yes, we did. It was 5 penalty runs to the batting side. It was illegal fielding, if I'm not mistaken. And they also, the scorers in their book need to write it. So I was in the umpire's room and I heard Shaki, the scorer, ask the match ref or the third umpire, I should say, in Katso, what was the reason for their records. So again, it also work as a team. All right. So at last, we got next question. At 13:15, the left arm spinner bowls a full length delivery towards the striker. The striker hits the ball against the helmet worn by the silly point fielder. The ball ricochets in the air towards the cover fielder. At the ball, the fielder, seeing the informed batsman at the non-striker's end short of his or her ground, and throws the wicket at the bowler's end with the non-striker out of his or her ground. So in this particular case, court will take precedence. The striker is out caught if the ball delivered by the bowler, not being a no ball, of course, touches his or her bat without having previously been in contact with any fielder, and it's subsequently held by a fielder as a fair catch. All right. So without having previously been in contact with any fielder, it's subsequently held by a fielder as a fair catch before it touches the ground. If the striker is not out bowled, then he or she is out caught, even though a decision against either batsman for any other method of dismissal will be justified. In this scenario, the striker is out caught as the ball can strike the fielder's helmet. Worn. Guys, just remember that, eh? Please read that word properly. When you mustn't think that it came off the bat over the keeper's head and hit the helmet of the fielding side. It was worn. It was a short leg. Silly point fielder was right there. Upon the catch being taken, the ball automatically becomes dead or immediately becomes in, and the run out of the non-striker will be ignored. Okay. 3 ways of a no ball. Also, just take note of this, guys. When it comes to no ball, you may get a question. I know it sounds silly and it's a level 1 question, but you may get a dismissal, especially with no ball and why. Just take note of that. All right, the next scenario question. At 17:58, the final ball of the 104th over of the day, the batsman gets an inside edge to the ball. The ball ricochets from the wicketkeeper's glove onto the helmet's visor before bouncing back onto the wickets of the striker short of his ground. There is an appeal. All right. If the wicket is put down by the ball, it shall be regarded as having put down by the wicketkeeper. Okay. If it rebounds onto the stumps or from any part of the wicketkeeper's person or equipment, or has been kicked or thrown onto the stumps of the wicketkeeper, the umpire will give the batsman out, stumped in this case. All right. So as you can see, as you can see, it states there where you get maybe half a mark or a mark for thrown onto the stumps, kicked or thrown onto the stumps. Where it comes with the wicketkeeper's person will be another mark or two. Giving out stumps would be maybe 2 marks. Because there's quite a lot that has happened, you potentially could get the batsman out stumped for 2 marks rather, because the marker might think that you may give run out in this sense. So guys, state why you, instead of saying the batsman will be given out, state what it is. Is it run out, stumped? In this case, stumped. Why? There was no intervention by another fielder. We'll get to that question. There's no intervention by another fielder. It came offside of the wicketkeeper. All right. Okay, in a 3-day match, in a 3-day match, the schedule closes of play is at 6 o'clock. At 17:52, Team Blue are 318 for 9 after 115.2 overs of the allotted 120. in the day. When the striker who is batting outside his ground to the spinner edges a ball and is caught by the first slip fielder of the wicket keeper's grill. The umpire calls no ball for the footfalls, but the wicket keeper, seeing the striker who is not attempting a run is still out of his or her ground, breaks the wicket after receiving the ball from the slip fielder. There is an appeal from the fielders. So as you can see, it's a six-mark question because a lot has happened. So there's been an intervention by another fielder. Time is also of the essence here. Less than 10 minutes before the close of play. What happens now? Now 9 wickets are down, etc., etc. So either batsman is out, run out. If at any time while the ball is in play, he or she is out of his or her ground and his or her wicket is fairly put down by the action of a fielder, even though no ball has been called, and whether or not a run is being attempted. So 1 mark there. The striker is not out, run out, even no ball has been called, and he or she is out of his or her ground, not attempting a run. And it's fairly put down by the wicketkeeper without the intervention of another fielder. So you'll state okay. In this scenario, there's an intervention from the first slip fielder before the wicketkeeper breaks the wicket with the striker out of his ground. Therefore, the striker will be out, run out. All right. Team Blue is now all out at 17:52. If an innings ends with 10 minutes or less before the time agreed for the close of play on any day, there shall be no further play. 1 mark. No change shall be made to the time of the start of the play on the following day. 1 mark. Okay. In this scenario, play time will be called at 17:52. The overs lost in the day will not be made up and play will start at original time, whatever that may be, on the following day, which is another mark. So just take note as a mark breakdown. I think that's vital. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I am going to just stop my share screen. I will be back in the next 5 minutes. I ask that you please have your questions that were prepared earlier for Dullah, and Abdullah will come on and have an interactive session with you guys. Thank you.
Okay, Mohammed, we'll see you in a few minutes. Okay, guys, let's have a interactive session. Any questions that you need clarity on, whether it's today's lecture or any of the previous lectures? Okay, Dane, go for it.
I have a question with regards to a scenario involving a no ball versus a dead ball. Like, if a bowler is coming to bowl, and as he's getting into his stride, the ball slips out the back of his hand. Now because he's leaning forward, it slips out the back and it flies in a forward direction, but off to the side, so it doesn't pitch on the pitch, obviously. And it lands like in the field and it goes past the popping crease of the batsman. Because it slipped out his hand, does it become a dead ball, or is it now a no ball because it didn't pitch on the pitch?
Okay, so thank you for your question, Dane. So for me, the crucial thing that I'm looking at is whether the ball was delivered or not. And if it leaves the bowler's hand, I see that as the ball being delivered. Yes, he perhaps tried a slower ball, but he did try to deliver the ball. So for me, that is what I look for if the ball is delivered. When a dead ball comes in, it usually happens before the ball gets delivered. Sometimes it just slips out of the bowler's hand, or sometimes in the bowler's gather, the bowling hand goes against the bowler's side, and it then because going against the bowler's side, it falls out of his or her hand. So that is what I look for. Did it happen before the bowler has released the ball? If yes, call and signal dead ball, because there is a law that covers that. If a bowler drops the ball accidentally, call and signal dead ball. If that ball gets released and and what I look for by a release, if it comes out of the hand, so whether it is bowler tried to slow a ball, whether it slip out of the hand, the moment that ball is released, I see that ball being delivered, and now you need to take into account, was it high enough to call it a no ball for height? That is one of the things that you can look at. Was it off the pitch before reaching the striker's wicket, and it pitched off the pitch before reaching the striker's wicket or the bowling crease? Then you'll call and signal no ball. Or did it pitch after the striker's wicket? Then you'll call and signal wide ball. So yeah, so just to summarize, Dane, those are the two things that I look for. Did it happen before that ball gets released? If yes, the bowler then dropped the ball accidentally before delivery, call and signal dead ball. There is a law under dead ball that covers it. The moment that ball gets released, now you need to look at whether it was high enough to call it no ball for above waist height, or did it pitch off the pitch before the striker's wicket? You would then call no ball, or after the, or if it pitched after the striker's wicket, it's then called a dead ball. Sorry, a wide ball. Did I answer your question then?
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, good. Just to emphasize again, Dane, when it comes to when do you call, there's a common question that gets asked. When, if it's off the pitch, do you call no ball? And when do you call dead ball? Sorry, wide ball. The crucial thing that you need to look at, and the law guides us here, the law tells us, if the ball bounce off the pitch before reaching the striker's wicket, it is called a no ball. If it's off the pitch after, if it let's say pitches after the striker's wicket, or let's say the bowling crease, it's then a wide ball. Is that clear, Dane?
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome. Dawood, floor is yours.
Thank you, Julia. Could you just clarify the one revision question that we just had? I think it was the last one. With intervention and without intervention, can you please just go through that, please? I know you don't have the revision question, but if you can just give us some clarity onto that one, please.
The when there was an intervention from one of the fielders, was that the question?
Yeah, so no, I'm just trying to understand between I think with the answer, if Julia can go to the answer.
I don't have the slides.
Oh, so someone put up okay. Yeah, so there we go. So you see, the one is either batsman is run out if any time while the ball is in play, he or she physically hit the wicket, put down the action the fielder, even though there has been no ball. The striker is not run out if no ball has been the intervention. Okay, yeah, in this scenario.
I've got it now. Can you go one slide forward to the question and not the answer? Is that possible? Can you do that?
There we go.
Okay. So now look, let's look at the scenario, and when you get these type of scenarios, you then break it up into smaller pieces, and then apply either a law or a playing condition to derive your answer. So in these type of questions, there's lots of fluff, if you know what I'm trying to say. They put lots of stuff there that's irrelevant, just to put a bit of meat on the question, and sometimes just to confuse you a bit. So now you just need to get rid of the fluff or what's not necessary, and just focus on exactly what they're asking you. And also, the important thing to answer these type of questions, Dawood, is by trying to visualize what you are reading. Visualization of these questions helps me immensely. If I can close my eyes and if I can see what the scenario, what they're asking me, it helps me answer these questions, because initially you just read it, and sometimes by just reading it, especially if it's a paid long question, you're like, oh, what are they asking? Then breaking it up into pieces, and then actually visualizing what they're asking you, it just makes it so much easier. So now what we're going to do is we're going to read the question, we're going to visualize what they are asking, and then apply a law or a playing condition. And we are going to be interactive when we do this now. So guys, I want you to um, to go through this question with me and the visualization. So they say a 3-day game, and close of play is at 8, as at 6, 8 minutes before 6. Then they give you the score, and then they give you which over, and then they tell you how many overs. They say now the striker. Yeah, just give me a second. There's someone is joining us, so I'm just admitting. Cindy. I think I know the Cindy. Hello, Cindy.
Hello, Abdullah. How are
Hi,
you?
how are you?
Yeah, very good. Thanks. Sorry, I'm late.
No, no problem. That's why we also record these sessions, so then you can listen to the recording in your own time.
Thank you so
So
much.
so where you haven't actually missed anything, because where we're at the moment is Muhammad just left the meeting room to attend to something. Should be back in the next few minutes. He just went over the revision questions of last week, and once he returns, he's going to start going through the law 41, which is for, this evening's session. So while we wait for Muhammad, we're now currently just having an interactive session, and one of the questions, one of the revision questions of this evening, Dawood would just like some clarity on it. And so when you get these type of revision questions, the best way to answer them is to break them up into smaller pieces. And the crucial thing is to actually visualize what you are reading. It just helps you answer the question better if you can see what they're asking. And then now that you can see what they're asking you, you can then apply either a law or a plain condition to get to your answer. So they're now saying, initially they start off by saying 6 o'clock, 8 minutes before 6, what the score is, what the overs is. Now they're saying striker batting outside his ground. And the striker edges the ball, and the ball is then caught by the first slip fielder off the keeper's grill. So if you, all of you can just visualize, you just visualize, close your eyes, spinner bowling. Striker plays forward, gets an edge. From the edge, it's a fairly healthy edge. It ricochets from the edge of the bat against the keeper's grill, and from the grill, it goes to first slip. Can everyone visualize that?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So now we've covered that first sentence. So still close your eyes, visualize, but now you hear the bowlers in umpire calls no ball. So now we're going to start just here. We're going to now just break down what we've seen and what laws are coming in here now. Okay, so you hear the umpire call no ball. You see it goes from the edge, healthy edge, against the keeper's grill, straight to first slip. Okay, so anyone wants to start? So just up until here, can this batter be dismissed? And if yes, why? And if no, why? Anyone can answer. So we're having an interactive session, and this is the best space to learn. Whether it's right or wrong, this is where you learn. I rather get an interpretation incorrect in a session like this than it happens on the field of play, and there I mess it up. I rather get it here wrong and learn from it here than get it incorrectly in a match. So
I
anyway,
don't mind trying.
yeah, that's why we're here. We could go.
Okay. So in this, firstly, I must tell you that the fact that you've asked us to break it down and visualize, I think I do understand it a much better just by just doing what you just said.
Mhm.
So to my understanding of this, so in the event of it not being a no ball and the ball ricocheted, so basically off the edge onto the keeper's grill into the slip's hand, and if it was not a no ball, yes, he can be given out. If
Yeah,
in the event now in
given
this
out court.
scenario,
Why? Okay, yeah. Why
given
would
out,
you given out
sorry,
court?
given out course,
Yeah, given out court. Yeah, but
given out.
it deflected off the keeper's grill. Is that what does the law say if it deflects off a keeper's grill?
Uh, no, sorry, you're gonna help me there, Tula, please.
Anyone else can you help Dane here? Sorry, Dawood here. Dane, Cindy.
I don't mind giving it a try.
Yeah, of course.
If
Remember,
the
we're
if
not
the
at
ball
we're
hits,
not at a noble. We're not at a noble yet. We're just saying, let's say this is not a noble. So from the edge, it goes into the keeper's grill straight to first slip without touching the ground. It's not a noble. Out or not out? If yes, why? If no, why? My question was, Dowd said yes, it's out. But then I just asked him, but it went against the keeper's grill. What does the law say if the ball goes against the keeper's grill?
if the ball goes against the keeper's grill or any protective gear and is caught
Yeah,
by another player, it will be given
yeah.
out.
Correct, Nikhil. Well done. The keeper's grill or helmet is part of the keeper's equipment. So if it goes or ricochets from any part of the equipment, whether it's the glove, the helmet, the pads, and it goes to a first slip fielder, as long as it doesn't touch the ground and the first slip catches it cleanly, the batter should be given out court. So that is a noble. So we've now visualized this. So we're now happy. We've dissected this. We're happy it went against the helmet. Went to first slip. No issue if it goes against the helmet because the law tell us now, even if it goes against any of the protective equipment of the fielder, of the keeper, the batter can still be out caught. So now, but in this case, it is a no ball. So now, does that change the situation? Yes or no? Because it's a no
It
ball,
does.
can the batter now still be out caught?
So I would say that it does change the situation because if
Yeah,
it
how
is a
does it
no
change it?
ball,
Yeah,
yes. So if it is a no ball, he cannot be given out court because obviously it's not a fair delivery. And
correct.
yeah, so yeah, that's it.
We and again we remember we're breaking this up into smaller pieces. So we're still getting to the rest of the question. We just now if you visualize off the edge, off the grill, into Slip's hands, and it looked like a fairly straightforward court decision, but because of the no ball, it changes everything. So now we know the striker cannot be out caught because of the no ball. So we're all happy with where we are at the moment.
Correct.
Okay, good. So now again, visualize this. So now the keeper, seeing that the striker is not attempting a run, the striker still does not have any part of his person behind the popping crease. The keeper then, after first slip tossed it back to the keeper, breaks the stumps, and the keeper appeals to you as the striker's in umpire. So again, close your eyes. Visualize the ball from the edge against the grill to first slip. But bowler's end calls no ball. Everyone now realize, yes, because it's now no ball, striker cannot be out caught. Slip throws the ball now back to the keeper. The batter is dozing, not realizing that while that ball is still in play, you need to get behind the popping crease. Batter dozing, ball gets thrown from slip back to keeper. Keeper then takes off the bells with the striker having nothing behind the popping crease and also not attempting a run. So can everyone visualize that? So now there's a huge appeal now. So everyone looking at the strikers in umpire, because they not going to look at bowlers in, because they know the striker cannot be out caught. So they're now looking at striker. What are you going to do? Come on, yeah. So
Okay.
let's have the interactive.
So I think, okay, and well, I hope and I think I now understand my question initially between intervention and without intervention. So I'm just going to give this a try, and I hope I'm correct. So
yeah,
the fact that the ball went from the keeper to the slip, and then obviously slip returning it, that is now with the intervention. So the batsman is not attempting a run, and he can't be stumped because the ball did not ricochet off the keeper onto the stump. It was intervention from slip to keeper, and in this case, the batsman was not attempting a run. So I wouldn't give that out. I wouldn't give that out run out, because he has shown no intent to obviously take a run.
Anyone agree with that, Daud, or do you have a different opinion? And not you, Mohammed.
I'm back. I was back a while ago. I just want to say thanks for having this interactive session. I've been listening in quite a while, and it's awesome to hear.
Sorry. Yeah, you're welcome. I'm just going to handle this question, then I'm going to give back to you. Then you can start your lesson. So yeah, Dane, do you agree with Daud, or do you disagree? And if you disagree, why do you disagree?
I think it could be run out because of the interaction of the slip fielder. Because a stump in is when the wicket is fairly put down by the wicketkeeper without the intervention of another fielder. In this case, we had the intervention of another fielder. And in a run out, it's when the wicket is fairly put down by the action of a fielder. And in this case, I think the slip would then count as a fielder. And you can't do run out on a no ball.
Yes, well done, Dane. You are 100% correct. This striker is out run out. So let's just break it up and apply the law to why we are saying that the striker is out run out. So I'm going to break it now into smaller pieces. So let's start with the stumping. We all understand why the striker cannot be out stumped. The reason is because of the no ball. We all understand that? Yes, yeah and no?
Yeah.
Yes, we do, sir.
Okay. Okay. So cannot be stumped. So now under the run out law, it states that the striker also has immunity from being run out if there was a no ball and the wicketkeeper, without the intervention of any of the other fielders, removes the bells, even though the striker was not attempting to run. And if the striker's outside his or her ground, the striker gets immunity from being a run out. So under the run out law, if I can just break it up even into smaller pieces. So under the run out law, it says the moment there is a foot fault And the striker, and the crucial part here is, should not have attempted a run. And the second crucial part, there should not have been any intervention by another fielder. So what is the interpretation of no intervention by another fielder? No other fielder should have touched the ball. So those are the two conditions where a striker gets immunity from being run out when there is a foot fault, no ball. So again, if it's a foot fault, no ball, and the striker not attempting a run, and there's no intervention by another fielder, even though the striker is not behind the popping crease, the striker has immunity from being run out. So now in this scenario, does those two conditions of getting immunity, are they applicable? Does the striker get immunity from being run out? Are those two conditions applicable here? And what are those two conditions? Striker not attempting a run and no intervention. In this scenario, are both those conditions being met?
No, they're not met.
They are, yes, correct, Dan. They are not met. Why are both not met? Yes, the striker was not attempting a run, but the other conditions are not being met. There was an intervention. Another fielder touched this ball. And because of another fielder touching the ball, the striker now does not get immunity anymore. Meaning the striker, if having nothing behind the popping crease, can be run out. And in this case, they tell you the striker still out of his ground, meaning nothing behind the wicket, when the ball went to first slip. So there was the intervention. First slip touched that ball, and from first slip it came back to the keeper, who then took off the bells. So in this case, the striker is run out. If there was no intervention from any fielder, the striker would not have been run out. But because of the intervention and not attempting a run, hence striker is run out. Did I answer your question? Is this clear? Did I answer the question clearly? Do you understand the two things that you need to look for? And this is only applicable when there's a no ball. So when there's a no ball, you need to be awake. You need to know the law, that you need to know striker only gets immunity if not attempting a run and if there was an intervention. Both those conditions are not met, then striker can be given out, run out. Any questions?
Thank you very much, Judah. I think for me it was the confusion with obviously between the intervention and obviously the slip fielder passing it on. Yeah.
Yeah. So now do you
Thanks.
understand what the law means by an intervention by another fielder? So
Correct. Yes.
yeah. So as long as another fielder touched the ball, that is the interpretation of intervention. Even if it went from the keeper's grill to the slip fielder's boot and ricocheted back onto the stumps, would you say that's an intervention?
Yes, it is an intervention because obviously it came off another person.
Yeah, it is an intervention, and if that striker wasn't as nothing behind the popping crease, can then be given out, run out. If there was no intervention and only the keeper touched it, the striker gets immunity as long as no intervention, and there's that other condition as well, not attempting a run. So now you can see, and this is the level where you are at the moment. not level 1 anymore, not level 2. This is now level 3, where you now need to get understanding, a much deeper understanding. You probably read that the run-out law many a times, but that's why we're having a level 3 course and the sessions to get a deeper understanding and interpretation of what the law is trying to say. And it's great that we're having these type of discussions, so that you get that understanding, and in the exam you'll be able to answer the question if it happens on the field of play. You can now go back and think, we discussed this. Was the intervention? Did the striker attempt the run? Was the no ball called? No, yes, yeah, yes, do this. No, do that. That's why we're having this. Juma, are you back? If you're not back, you are back. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you for the interaction. Again, I love the interaction, because this is the forum that we need to learn in. This is the forum that you make your mistakes, not on the field of play. So rather get it wrong here than get it wrong on the field of play. So Juma, back to you. We can handle, if there are more questions, we can handle it in the Q&A session after Juma's lecture. Juma, over to you.
Abdullah, thank you so much for the fantastic session. Guys, I hope you learned a lot, especially when it comes to on-field technique. And like Abdullah said, rather make the mistake in these sessions than have it on the field of play, especially in matches that you will get questioned. All right, so we're going to do law 41, which is fair and unfair play. This is the last law that we'll be going through this evening, or for the sessions that we've had thus far. And then we'll begin with our revision on Thursday evening. All right, sorry, I think I went back there. Okay, deliberate distraction, deception, or obstruction of the batters after the ball was delivered. Okay, I do apologize if there's a slight lag. I know there's load shedding in around my area, and hence it does. I am on 5G, so it's as quick as possible. So what do the umpires do when any fielder willfully, which is like on purpose, attempt by word or action to distract, obstruct, or deceive either batter after the striker has received the ball? So the umpire will call and signal dead ball. Neither batter shall be dismissed from that delivery. Award 5 penalty runs to the batting side. Ball shall not count as one of the over. And any runs completed before the offense shall be scored together with any penalty runs. Additionally, the run in progress, whether the batters cross or not, shall also be scored. So you could, like I mentioned, guys, you could get a fielder that willfully does something. He deceives the batsman. So it could be, if I'm not mistaken, this past weekend it happened where the batsmen were the fielding team tried to deceive the batsman. So again, Chopper would have called dead ball. So nothing thereafter. So no dismissal from that delivery would have been would have happened. You know what? 5 penalty runs for batting side, tap the shoulder, opposite shoulder. It's obviously the ball will have to be sort of re-bowled. It won't count as one of the over. And in that, if I'm not mistaken, I think Northern Cape did complete a couple runs prior to the incident. So again, guys, just remember that any runs, even in this particular case, because it was a deception or it was a thing that was done on purpose by the fielder to deceive, the batter will get all the runs that they were trying to attempt, even if they're not crossed on that particular run when the incident happened. Okay. And then the batters at the wicket shall decide who faces the next delivery and inform and reporting to the governing body. So in this case, maybe your match referee, but that's a massive one, guys. If it's a willful distraction or a deception, in this case, the batters will decide who faces. Doesn't mean that who is on strike at that particular instance. I'll just take note of that. Bowling of dangerous and unfair and non-pitching deliveries. That's obviously something that's sort of directed at the bowler, at the batter, or full tosses, if they say. Doesn't have to be directed, but it is dangerous. but it's all full tosses, not something that not short pitch deliveries. All right. Any delivery which passes or would have passed without pitching above the waist height of the striker standing upright at the crease, it is deemed to be dangerous and unfair, whether or not it is likely to inflict physical injury on the striker. If the bowler bowls such a delivery, the umpire shall immediately call and signal no ball. So again, at striker's end, we'll call and signal no ball. Why? Because the batter can hit that ball, can attempt to hit that delivery. When the ball is dead, the umpire shall caution the bowler, indicating this is the first and final warning. The umpire shall also inform the other umpire. You also do this, guys. Remember, you need to inform your other umpire this is a first and final warning. Why? Because the bowler could a couple overs later go bowl on his or her end, on your colleague's end, and they may not be unaware of that you issued a first and final warning. You could be someone that's not so loud, etc., when issuing the warning, and you talk to the bowler, but your strikers and umpire, your colleague may be distracted with something else that they are attending to, and in that you think that they've seen it and they take it for granted that they've seen it, and next thing he goes and issues first and final on the other end, and then the bowler or the batting captain, I should say, or the batters at that time, who I might maybe still say how, but your colleague just a few overs ago. So just take note of that. Okay, and batters or whatever. See, now already with the batters, nothing too loud, and you may remember. So just remember, inform your colleague, and this caution shall apply throughout the bowler's innings. So if he goes back and bowls somewhere else on the other end, not somewhere else, on the other end, it will count as well. Should there be any further delivery by the same bowler in that innings, the umpire shall call and signal no ball again. Let play happen. So you let play happen. If the batter hits it, let it play. When the ball is dead, so if it comes back into the bowler fielder's keeper's hands, direct the captain of the fielding side to suspend the bowler immediately from bowling. The bowler thus shall be suspended and not be allowed to bowl again in that innings. So guys, we get a 4-day game and it's a 2 innings match. He can bowl again in the subsequent in the next when his team comes back to bowl again. The over shall be completed by another bowler, but not the bowler was bowled the previous over, and no will bowl the next over. All right, and then again you'll do the informing and reporting procedures. Okay, so I know many think that sometimes you're not gonna get this in a particular in a match where the bowler bowls a deliberate front foot no ball. So you could get an instance where a particular bowler doesn't like a batsman, and the batsman is a hit away from scoring maybe something personal to them, maybe their best score or etc. And they could want him off strike, and bowls it could be leading to a result if they hit that particular amount of runs, and one run is only needed to win. So if they hit a boundary, they'll get a personal best score and they'll still win the game. But the bowler bowls a deliberate front foot no ball, knowing full well that they only need one run to win. So this is what will happen. If the umpire considers that the bowler has delivered a deliberate, so on purpose, front foot no ball, he shall call and signal no ball. When the ball is dead, direct the captain of the fielding side to suspend the bowler immediately suspend the bowler immediately from bowling. Inform the other umpire of the reason for this action. The bowler thus suspended shall not be allowed to bowl again in that particular innings. If applicable, the over shall be completed by another bowler who shall neither have bowled any part of the previous over nor be allowed to bowl any part of the next over. And you'll report the occurrence of the batters, and as soon as practicable, the captain of the batting side at the next, maybe perhaps the next interval when you do chat. And the umpire together shall report the occurrence as soon as possible to the match executive of the offending side and the governing body responsible for the match, who shall take any such action as it considers appropriate against the captain, any individuals concerned, and if appropriate, the team. Okay, so now we go on to the protected area. This area is deemed as where we do not allow the bowlers to run on, batters to run down the middle of the wicket. So in inverted commas, the middle of the wicket, the area which is protected, the area which you do not allow anything to occur with batter, bowler, etc. The protected area is defined as the area of the pitch contained within a rectangle bound at each end by imaginary lines, parallel to the popping crease, which is 1.52 meters in front of each, and on the sides of imaginary lines, one each side of the imaginary line join the center of the two middle stumps, each 30.48 centimeters from it. So from the middle stump, 30.48 centimeters. So a ruler, 30 centimeter ruler, guys, a little bit more will be to one side. That will be how far you would go, and you'd make a mark at the back. You'll see that square mark at the back of the bowling crease. All right, so 1 foot, and then on the other side as well of the middle stump, and then 5 foot. So you'll see the square marking in front of the popping crease on the side, sort of on the side of the wicket. You'll see it, and that's what it's for. So there is a representation in the next slide of what is the protected area. So we've now got the protected area, which is this. So this is a depiction of a wicket. All right. As you can see, I hope my mouse does come on screen. As you can see, 30.48 centimeters. You'll see from the middle of the yellow stump going across and then coming across again. All right. And then you got your 5 foot. All right. So guys, you may get an instance where, for example, it is slightly, you may go to a national week and you'll be asked to measure your creases. Take this into a note as well. Measure how far the protected area markings are. Make sure, guys, 30.48, the easiest way to remember is a ruler, 31 centimeters. A lot of times 30.48 is just 30.5. So a ruler, for example. So you know, okay, if it's smaller than 30 centimeters, hey, we got a problem. If it's far larger than 30.5 or 30.48, if you know be as accurate, then you know, hey, the ground staff member has to bring it in a little bit. But just remember these. It's not just your crease markings that are important. It's also these markings that are important and measurements. So you've got 1 foot from middle stump to the left. 1 foot to the right. Okay. Sorry, I'm just bringing my mouse in. There we go. So you've got in combined 2 feet. All right. So there's 2 feet from that indication to this indication. All right. And there's your 5 foot marking. Everyone can see that. Now this becomes your protected area. This rectangular block becomes your protected area. Okay. There we go. All right. So from your 5 foot in front of it, as wide as the 2 feet. That's your protected area. So again, guys, when it comes to sweeping, remarking, guys, you'll always see the ground staff working in this area. You'll always see them working in that area. Why? That's where the batters land. They can fix footholds, whatever the case may be. You'll never see them going and sweeping the protected area. Yes, they'll pick up debris and stuff like that before rolling. If a batting captain asks when they're going into bat, etc. But you'll always see them in a 4-day game at lunch, same innings, they'll be sweeping in this area. All right. Okay. Okay. As you can see the dotted lines. All right. Parallel picture can be seen here exactly how you would work the protected area. All right. So again, guys, something to also when it comes to field technique is when you're lining up. Sometimes you may have this bails in your eye line according to this particular line. So you'll draw an imaginary line and you'll say, right, this is the top of the stumps. is in the top of the bales or top of the stumps is in line with this imaginary line. Okay. Is everyone okay with that? I trust that you can hear me well. I'm going to be moving on.
Yeah, all good.
Thanks, Cindy. So law 41, there's a nice picture. I have included computer sound. If it does lag or if you cannot hear, please do let me know.
Damaging the pitch. Deliberately damaging the pitch is illegal and can be costly to the guilty player's side. A bowler will be deemed to be causing deliberate damage if the umpire considers that his or her presence on the protected area of the pitch, shown here in red, is without reasonable cause. This can be after delivering the ball, or, if the bowler fails to release the ball, after the completion of the delivery swing and delivery stride. The first offence will receive a caution. The second, a final warning. And if the bowler does it again, he or she will be suspended from bowling for the rest of the innings and may well face disciplinary action after the match. For fielders and batsmen, it is the whole pitch that they must not damage, not just the protected area. If any fielder causes deliberate damage to the pitch, he or she will face a similar caution and be reported to the captain. If there is a repeat offence by any fielder during that innings, 5 runs are awarded to the batting side. Finally, if either batsman causes deliberate damage to the pitch, the batsman will be given a first and final warning and told this practice is unfair. This warning will apply through the innings and each incoming batsman will be warned. Should this happen again, the umpire will disallow all runs from that delivery, other than the penalty for a no ball or wide. Furthermore, the umpire will award 5 penalty runs to the fielding side, return the batsmen to their original ends, inform both captains, and the offending player may well face disciplinary action after the match. If you're in any doubt, refer to Law 41 in the Blue Book.
Okay, guys, just also field technique when it comes to something like this. As you can see with the bowler, the first time being a caution, and first and final, third time being off, if you want to call it that. But guys, just sometimes you can see him trying. It's not deliberate. You can see that the bowler's just getting into his rhythm. Just have a chat with him when he walks past you. Just say, listen, you're getting into that protected area. Let's work together. Second time it happens, go onto the wicket. Say, bowler, get off. I've spoken to you. All right, and then you can sort of go on with the caution. I will send you guys a document, and Dula would have this from their last panel meeting. There was procedures with different instances like this, and at other times on how it would come into effect when it comes to caution, etc. And how the umpires sort of have it a blanket approach on how to approach certain laws or implementation of it. So it's have a chat, work with the bowler, time to get off, and then thereafter do your caution and first and final, etc. All right, so bowler running on the protected area. It is unfair for a bowler to enter the protected area in his or her follow through without reasonable cause, whether or not the ball is delivered. Okay, so reasonable cause would be obviously if you're going for a catch, that would be a reasonable cause. If a bowler contravenes this law at the first instance and when the ball is dead, the umpire shall caution the bowler. Have you heard in the video? And you'll obviously inform the other umpire. This caution will be throughout the bowler's innings. Inform the captain of the fielding side and the batters at what has occurred. So you'll just usually sometimes the captain's right behind you at mid-on. Cappy, that's a caution, eh? Just nothing too loud, nothing too untoward. Just inform him, and then the batters will hear you, and you'll just inform the batters. Batters, I'm giving him a caution. If in that innings the same bowler again contravenes the law, the umpire shall repeat the above procedure, indicating this is a final warning. All right. This also shall apply throughout the innings. So now this is sort of the second instance that he's done it. If in that innings the same bowler contravenes his law for a third time, when the ball is hit, the umpire shall direct the captain of the fielding side to suspend the bowler immediately from bowling, and over shall be completed by another bowler if applicable, who hasn't bowled the previous over and nor will bowl any part of the next over or the next over in general. Okay, you'll inform the match ref, for example. All right, the striker in the protected area. The striker shall not adopt a stance. So this, guys, you're gonna get, and I can tell you right now, in professional cricket, guys that want to try and negate spin, that want to try and take a bigger, wider stance, they always come out a bat outside the crease. You'll get this. The striker shall not adopt a stance. So getting ready to take strike in the protected area or so closely that it is a frequent encroachment is inevitable. Obviously, double stepping is not part of this. Double stepping can, because he's going to strike the ball at that particular instance. He hasn't set up in the protected area. He's gone and hit it in the protected area, but he hasn't set up in the protected area or or sort of close to it, whereby he's always going into this area. Okay, the striker may make a guard on the pitch, provided that no mark is unreasonably close to the protected area. So you get Shivnai Chandapol. He should make a mark on the pitch, or yes, on the popping crease, but he'll make a mark maybe sometime a bit further out so you can see where the off stump or whatever he was when he was hitting the bail, but it wasn't close to the protected area. If the striker contravenes the above, which is either encroachment or adopting a stance in the strikers in the protected area, you'll give the striker first and final warning, and this warning shall apply throughout the innings. Inform the non-striker and each incoming batter. Inform the captain of the fielding side and the batting side when applicable, when practicable. The captain of the batting side. If there's any further breach by any batter in that innings, disallow all runs to the batting side. Return any not out batter to his or her original end. Signal no ball or wide to the scorers if that occurred. Award 5 penalty runs to the fielding side, and award any other 5-run penalty that is applicable except for penalty runs under law protecting helmets to the fielding side. Inform the report to the governing body. If you have a match left, that would be your governing body. All right. I just would like to go back to point 1 when it comes to the protected area for the batters, for the striker. Guys, you'll also not be. I'm not saying that you mustn't go first and final immediately or whatever. But again, if you can see the striker taking guard, or you can see that the striker adopting a stance outside the crease, something to also work with your colleague at the strikers and umpire. Inform your colleague how far out the striker is. Also, when it comes to LBW, things like that, the bowlers and umpire then is aware of that first and foremost, number 1. But also, if you see him getting quite close, just when you either maybe walking past, or if you go up to him after the next delivery, better take one step back. You're taking guard in the protected area, or your stance is going into the protected area. And it's going to be frequent. It's going to become frequent. You can see it. So again, and also talk amongst your as colleagues that where where batters are. So in future, someone that has this batter can also work with them. Okay. So I'm going to just go past this that we've done it already. All right. So everyone understands that you will obviously disallow all runs, returning not or batter to his or her original end, etc. And if there are penalty extras for no ball or wide, you would signal that to the scorers. Okay. Now, this is when batters cause avoidable or deliberate damage to the pitch. Okay, it is unfair, which is understandable. It is unfair to cause deliberate or avoidable damage to the pitch if the striker enters a protected area, which we discussed in the previous slides, what the protected area is and the dimensions to it. Okay, if the striker enters the protected area in the or in playing at the ball, he or she must move from it immediately thereafter. A batter deemed to be called if either umpire considers that his or her presence on the pitch is without reasonable. All right. If either batter causes deliberate or avoidable damage to the pitch, other than in 41.15 at the first instance, the umpire seeing the contravention shall, when the ball is dead, inform the other umpire of the occurrence. The bowler's umpire shall then warn both batters that the practice is unfair. So you'll inform both batters that the practice is unfair and indicate that this is a first and final warning. This warning shall apply throughout the innings. The umpire shall so inform each incoming batsman. Inform the captain of the fielding side and as soon as practicable, the captain of the batting side of what has occurred. If there's any further instance of avoidable damage to the pitch by any batter in that innings, the umpire seeing the contravention shall, when the ball is dead, inform the other umpire of the occurrence, and the bowler's umpire then shall disallow all runs to the batting side, return any not out batter to his or her original end, signal no ball or wide to the scorers if applicable, award 5 penalty runs to the fielding side, and award any other 5 penalty runs that is applicable except for penalty runs for protective helmets. All right? And you'll inform the governing body of what has occurred. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are done with our session for the level 3 course. When it comes to Law 41, we do have a few revision questions, but before I do go on to that, is there any questions with regards to Law 41? Dula, from your side, is there anything that we can expand on to assist the candidates before with regards to Law 41? Is there anything that we can add in terms of any particular subsection of Law 41 that I can go back to?
I just want to bring under the attendees' attention that especially the non-pitching deliveries or non-pitching deliveries above waist height, there is a difference between the law and the playing condition. So remember, in your level 3 exam, you need to answer as per the law and not the playing condition. So be careful. We've had many candidates in the past where they answer in the exam, they'll answer it as per the playing condition. And just for this course sake, let me just quickly give you the difference between how the law sees it and the playing condition. Under the laws of cricket, when you bowl, if any bowler that bowls above a ball that's above waist height, striker standing upright at the popping crease, either umpire to call and signal no ball. Although the striker's end is in the best position to call it, either umpire can call it. That's under the laws of cricket. Under the laws of cricket as well, it tells you that irrespective where that ball is bowled, whether it's likely to inflict physical injury on the batter or not, you will give the bowler first and final warning. If it happens again, bowler bowls a ball above waist height, of striker standing upright at the popping crease, you'll call and signal no ball, and then for the second time, you will then remove the bowler from the attack. So that is as per the laws of cricket. The playing condition is slightly different, and I'm fairly certain that your playing condition is the same. You must just correct me if I'm wrong here, Mohammed, because the playing condition expand a bit on inflict physical injury on the striker. So what the playing condition states is, if the bowler bowls the ball above waist height, striker standing upright at the popping crease, either umpire to call and signal no ball. That is exactly the same as per the law. But the difference comes in the playing condition. What we need to look at, especially the bowlers in umpire, because he or she is in the best position to judge this. If the ball is directed at the striker, only if it's directed at the striker, and if it's above waist height, you will call and signal no ball, and you will give the bowler his or her first and final warning for bowling a ball above waist height. If that same bowler in that same innings does it a second time, bowling a ball, striker standing upright at the popping crease above waist height, and if it's directed at the striker, you will then remove the bowler from the attack. If it's not directed at the striker, let's say it's half a meter away from the striker. If it's above waist height, striker standing upright at the popping crease, yes, you will call and signal no ball. But you will not give the bowler a warning because it's not going to cause physical injury to the batter. It's not directed at the striker. So that is the according to the playing condition, you need to judge. If it's directed at the striker, you will then call and signal no ball and give a warning. According to the laws of cricket, doesn't matter whether it's directed at the striker or not. If it's above waist height of the striker standing upright at the popping crease, you will call and signal no ball, and you'll give, if it happened the first time, a first and final warning, and if it happens a second time above waist height, irrespective whether it's directed at the striker or not, you will then remove the bowler from the attack if it happens a second time in that particular innings. I just wanted to highlight the difference between the law and the playing condition, and I'm fairly certain KZN follows the same playing condition as CSA. If not, Mohammed, you need to guide me here, but I think you do follow the same playing condition. I'm mentioning this because we see too many candidates in the exam. They do write the playing condition and not the law. In the exam, you need to write as per the laws of cricket. Thanks, Mohammed. Over.
Thanks, Abdullah. Yes, correct. Our playing conditions do mirror the CSA playing condition when it comes to this. And we always sort of in our training as well have used the term, the batter's bubble. So again, when it's directed at the striker, so sort of his bubble, his or her bubble that's around them, you'd give a few meters, centimeters on either side. That is directed at the batter. So we do have the same interpretation of that. So thanks for that, Tula. I really appreciate it. Ladies and gents, is there any other questions when it comes to Law 41, be it the protected area, anything you need clarity on with regards to batter running on the protected area? We have discussed, especially when it comes to field technique, when the batter is coming onto the field of play, or when the batter has run, and you now say the non-strikers in, just walk past him better, you on the protected area. Dula, before I get onto the revision questions, we have discussed field technique, and I've given sort of how I would handle something, especially in the protected area. Just from your side, especially the higher up, would something like that work as well as the umpires go further up in national tournaments, where they chat to them, just sort of friendly, and then show them, especially with the bowlers, show him where you went, and then thereafter revert to law with the implementation?
Yes, I always try to work with the bowlers, with the fielders, educate them. There's nowhere in the law that says anything about speaking to the bowler, friendly warnings, working with the bowler. The law just tells you if the bowler runs into the protected area, you need to give him or a caution. If it happens the first time, if it happens the second time, first and final. If it happens the third time, remove the bowler from the attack for that particular innings. So that is the law. Fairly, fairly, straightforward, and nothing about all speaking or warnings. Okay, but in practice, always try to work with the bowler. If you do see the bowler running in the protected area, have a quiet word with the bowler. Do not try to bring attention onto yourself by now going into the protected area, making a big scene about it, looking at there, putting your foot there. Initially, if the bowler, initially try to work with the bowler. So if you see the bowler goes in there, as the bowler comes back, whisper in his or her ear that you are running in the protected area. Can just please come a bit wider or get out of the protected area. If you see it happens again, speak to the bowler. Now you can say, bowler, I spoke to you over earlier, 2 overs earlier. I see you in there again. Again, just whisper in the bowler. Do not try to bring attention onto yourself or the bowler. It's just you bowling also the rapport with the bowler. The bowler sees you trying to work with the bowler. Bowlers appreciate that much better than just taking out your stick or throwing the book at them. Work with the bowler. So now I've spoke second time, but now it happens again. Third time, now the bowler's in. So now what I now do is, I now speak to the bowler, but I say to bowler, this is now the third time that I'm speaking to you. I now bring the captain in here as well, because now you need to involve the captain, and the reason for that is because I've now spoken to the bowler. This is now the third time. Because if you are now going to give the bowler a warning, no one is going to be surprised that when you do give the bowler, let's say his or her first official or caution for running in the protected area. So, firstly, I'll speak to the bowler the first time. Second time, I'll whisper in his ear. Second time, third time, now I will involve the captain as well, and I'll tell the captain, I spoke to your bowler, keeps on running. It's third time I'm speaking to him. Next time, I am going to give him or her a warning. So now everyone is quite aware what's going on. At provincial or international level, there are match referees, so you'll actually radio every single. Once you spoke to the bowler, even though it's a discreet, you spoke discreetly to the bowler, you'll radio it to your match referee, just to let the match referee know you spoke to the bowler. Second time you do it as well. Now third time you spoke to bowler and captain. You radio it in, and now when the first official warning or caution comes in, no one is surprised of the official warning or caution. And also, captain, bowlers, they can see that you've tried to work with them, but you cannot allow the bowler to continuously run in there. Continuously running in there will scuff up the area. Later in the game, you'll see patches will develop that can assist the spinners. So that's usually how we handle bowlers running in. Try to work with them. If not, involve the captain. Then you don't have a choice. You then need to go over to action. Usually, there are other times where you need to be a bit match savvy. You need to sometimes take the match situation into account. Let's say it's day 4 or day 5. The third innings, and your cricketing sense tells you the fielding side is trying to scuff I'm not sure if you lost me, but I think I lost you for a few seconds. But the bowler is trying to the point I'm trying to make is sometimes the match situation will allow you to act a bit quicker. If your cricketing sense tells you this fielding side are trying to scuff up the protected area, um, you need to come in a bit quicker. You cannot now go first. Now you want to you need to use the match situation, and sometimes there is a need to act a bit quicker. It's day 4 or early morning of day 5. Batters will now take chances running straight down because they know they've got 2-3 spinners in. They know they're going to bowl last and they're going to try to scuff up that protected area. So now you need to be match savvy and intervene much quicker than you would, let's say, in the first morning of the game or the second, third over of the game. You're going to be a bit more lenient. But usually I would go first, speak to the bowler discreetly. Second, discreetly. Third, speak to the bowler, but now involve his or her captain. So now, and you tell them, next one, I'm going to have to go official. So when you do go official, no one can complain because you inform the captain that this is, I spoke to the bowler 3 times already. Now the 4th time, no one can have any arguments. That is just my way. Again, nothing in the law that says that's how you need to do it. But I feel work with the bowler, work with work with him. You build that rapport. Bowlers appreciate that if you work with them, rather than in there the first time you take out your book and you throw the book in his or her face and start issuing cautions and warnings out immediately. It just, you bring the attention onto yourself. You just create that bitterness in the fielding side. If you start throwing the book immediately into their face, but if you show them, I'm working with you, and I've tried to work with you, but you're continuously running in. You're now forcing me to apply the law. It goes much better down than throwing it immediately into the bowler's face. Over Juma, Cindy, I see your hands up.
Sorry, I just wanted to ask you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
So yeah, no, just sometimes when we get to even first team school level, and just now we were involved in a camp with the inland girls under 16 and under 19. Just the nature of sometimes the selections and the girls' understanding of the law, they don't really even understand what the protected area is. So now you might be standing a game and you see the girl running on, or the gentleman, running onto the protected area. At that point, would you take it as a teaching opportunity? I know you say don't step out, onto the separate area and show them and intimate with your hands and stuff like that. Should one then rather call the captain over and say, do you understand what the protected area is? Do you know what the protected area is? Please chat to your bowler so that they understand. Or would you kind of teach the bowler at that moment by physically showing them where the protected area runs? How would you deal with that?
Cindy, I agree 100% with you. So what I've explained to you is, then what the protected area is. Then that is how you handle it, at senior level, senior club level. Yes, I agree with you 100%. When it comes to junior cricket, when it comes to teaching the youngsters, educate them, work with them. Yes, they do not know the law, they do not understand the law, and I've got no issue. I even try to help the juniors, the youngsters.
Yeah.
Even sometimes you get a new bowler that doesn't understand. I had a bowler a few years ago at semi-professional level running in the protected area. So when I spoke to him, he said to me, what is the protected area? He's at provincial level, but at club level, it wasn't policed. So that
Yeah.
particular bowler ran straight down the pitch at club level, and none of the umpires said anything. Now I come at provincial level, and I'm telling him he's running in the protected area. And he said to me, he's never heard of it. And he was still a
Yeah.
youngster. So now then I use the opportunity, to educate him, to tell him, if you do run in there, this is the reason why the law is there. You're scuffing up that area. That is where the ball
Yeah.
needs to land. Spinners can come in. If you scuff that area up, if the ball pitches on there, it can explode, it can roll, it can bounce, it can kick. So yes, I do use it as an educational opportunity. Educate them. I've got no issue with that. And yes, in those instances, Cindy, you are a bit more lenient.
Okay.
Be
Thank you.
a bit more lenient. Educate them. Don't just throw the book at their face. Don't now say, yeah, but I said to you once, twice. Now I'm going to throw. Rather educate at it. Really, it's for their benefit, and they appreciate it. They don't know it,
Yeah.
and they appreciate it. And just imagine how you go. You apply, throw the book in their face. After 2-3 overs, you tell them, yeah, but now you're removed from the attack. You can't bowl for the game. I mean, how is that going to go down? They're here to come play cricket, to enjoy cricket. They don't really understand. Now you tell them there's a law that says you can't bowl anymore. I don't understand this. Yeah, so yes,
Yeah.
work with them.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. You're welcome. Mohammed, over to you.
Thank you, Dila. Thanks for that. That's also a massive learning curve for all of us, and especially myself as well, on how to handle these type of situations. So, guys, as we reach to nearing the end of our session, I have turned over my connection. I am now on my metered connection because I will be experiencing load shedding, but it will be fine. So we will start with, so if I do lag just slightly after 8, please do forgive me. It will be load shedding in my area. So we'll start with the revision questions for day 4. These will be based on law 41 and some being further with the laws that we've discussed as well. So revision question number 1. I'll try and go to the floor. I know it's only Dawood and Nikhil. Dane has stepped out for another engagement that he had. He did let me know earlier in the day. So Dawood, we'll go with you first. I'll read out the question and then you can give it a shot if you'd like. The striker hits a leg side delivery to a position 5 meters in front of the square leg. The striker calls the non-striker for a quick single. As the batter's turn for the second run, the short leg fielder moves to his left and stuck out his foot, and in which turn and chips the striker, who fell to the ground. The mid-wicket fielder, meanwhile, has gathered this ball and throws the wicket at the striker's end. Throws the wicket at the striker's end down with the striker short of his ground. There is an appeal. Dawood, how would you handle this situation? Dawood, can you hear me?
Sorry, Jim, I'm not sure if you can hear me. I'm also having issues with the internet. Can you confirm, please?
Loud and clear.
Okay, so let me just go through this, and then I'll try my best to this.
Yeah. So Dawood, as I said earlier, break it up into smaller pieces and visualize what you're reading, and it will help you see exactly what is happening, and then apply the law to what you're visualizing. Over.
Thank you. So the striker hits a leg side delivery to a position 5 meter in front of square leg.
Visualize that.
Okay, so I think I'm going to use that. Okay, so basically that 5 meters in front of square leg. I think last time Dula told us that these are like your fluff. I think that 5 meter in front of square, I don't think it has any basis on this. But okay, it hits on the leg side. The striker calls the non-striker for a quick single. Okay, as the batter turns for the second, the short leg fielder moves to his left and stuck out his foot, and which in turn trips the striker who fell to the ground. The mid-wicket fielder, meanwhile, has gathered the ball and throws the wicket. Okay, so here, this would be deliberate distraction. I think it is. Sorry.
Can be a deliberate obstruction. Yes, correct.
Yeah, deliberate obstruction to the batsman. So in this scenario, you would allow all runs as completed, and yeah, I'm just trying to remember this one. You would to distract temptation. You should sorry. First, I think you should call and signal dead ball, and award 5 penalty runs to the batting team, and allow all runs that has been completed. Sorry,
And
allow
how would you
all
answer
runs
that?
that
Yeah.
has been. Sorry, say again.
Okay, carry on. Sorry, I stepped in there. Carry on.
I think on this one, if I remember correctly, that you did on this one, allow all runs, and I'm not sure if even though the one that hasn't been completed as well.
And the appeal would be not out or out. Because there is an appeal, so you have to answer the appeal.
Not the appeal. So if you calling and signaling dead ball, and you're awarding 5 penalty runs, and if you're allowing all runs even though they may not have been completed, I would not give the batsman out.
Okay, so let's go through the actions. Well endowed, call and signal dead ball. All right. Then you, as a field technique, make sure that you ask the ball from the fielding side, and you then consult. So that's what I was hoping you'd actually say consult, because you'd want to make sure what has happened, and in your interpretation or your understanding of it being deliberate, that your colleague is on the same page as you. So call and signal dead ball. As you know, when there's no play, umpires take hold of the ball. So just ask for the ball. They roll it to you, keep it in your view or with you. You'll discuss whether it was willful. So you'll make sure that your colleague is on the same page. All right. To distract, to deceive, or obstruct the batter. So in this case, be obstruction. Was it a on purpose attempt, for lack of a better word than willful? Was it on purpose? In this scenario, there was a willful attempt because you could deceive the batter or obstruct the batter. So you could see that there was a willful, it was done on purpose. He could, the fielder or close would have seen where the ball was coming, or would have seen the batters running and deliberately stuck out his or her leg. Okay, neither batter would be dismissed. Correct. Well done, Dawood. Neither batter would be dismissed from that delivery. Hence, the answer to the run-out appeal will be not out. So you have to answer the appeal. There was an appeal. So hence I was trying to push you there to get an answer with regards to the appeal. So you are on the right track with everything else. With regards to calling and signaling dead balls, so you call and signal dead ball, chat to your colleague, but you'd have to answer the appeal as well. You can't just state as we go along. As a bowlers and umpire, you'll award 5 penalty runs to the batting side, signal to the scorers, and wait for the acknowledgement. So please make sure you wait for this. Apologies when tapping your shoulder. Inform the captain of the fielding side of the reason for this action. As soon as practicable, inform the captain of the batting side. The ball shall not count as one of the over. Any runs completed by the batsman before the offense shall be scored, together with any runs for penalties awarded to either side. Additionally, the running progress shall be scored. Well done, Dawood, whether or not they had crossed. In this case, I think they had crossed to the second, but the striker was going back to the wicketkeeper's end or to the striker's end. And the batters at the wicket shall decide which of them to face the next delivery. All right. That's what you'll need to also, like Dola said, you may get an instance where batters don't know. So you'll need to just update them or let them know and report the offense to the governing body. So the main thing here, guys, is I'm not going to go back because it may be a bit of a lag. Is the biggest thing that you guys need to ensure that we do as umpires is consult with your colleague. Just make sure you and him are on the same page. If you do not, it doesn't look good, first and foremost, but also secondly, I can tell you right now, if this happened in the middle of the over, or whether it happens at the end of the over, your colleague will get questioned on this. So you'll need to be on the same page, even when it comes to when you're warning the bowler. Again, you'd inform your colleagues so you're on the same page. He says, okay, that's your thought process. I didn't think it was willful. He didn't really see, they just knocked into each other, or whatever the case may be. But yes, in that case, I saw him stick out his foot. He saw the batter, he saw the line of running, and then you just clear all the clutter out of your mind, and you're able to work with that after that, and implement the law. Well done, Dawood, with breaking it up. You took Dullah's you took Dullah's advice. You broke it up. You saw the clutter wherever the ball was hit, whether it was 5 meters, 10 meters before the boundary, it doesn't matter. You broke it up that where they hit the ball is irrelevant. All right. The only thing that matters is that the fielder stuck out his foot, and it was a deliberate distraction of the batsman. So well done. So it'll be any runs completed. So it'll be 2 plus the 5 penalty runs. So well done. All right. All right. So it'll be 7, like I said. 5 penalty runs plus the 1 and the 1 in progress, which they would have possibly got if they had actually not being distracted or obstructed. Okay, write down the time, and again, you check the next interval with the scorers, but just make sure they get the 5 penalty runs. And if you got a two-way radio with them, inform them what's that for. The reason for that, like I said earlier in the session, it happened this past weekend. The scorers just want to know for their records, what is it? Hey, question. It will not be now. If you can let me know if it. The third ball of the 6th over on day 1 of a 3-day game is bowled by a fast bowler, which is a full toss directed at the striker above waist height, which is hit by the striker to the fine leg boundary for 4. Daud, can you tell me if you see the question on your screen?
It's there.
I think it's come up now. Thanks, Cindy. So question number 2, the third ball of the 6th over on day 1 of a 3-day game is bowled by a fast bowler, which is a full toss directed at the striker above waist height, which is hit by the striker to the fine leg boundary. Explain your actions, if any. Nikhil, I think you're still on the line. Would you like to have a go?
Yes, why not? So the bowler has bowled a full toss directed straight above the waist. So as the umpire, square leg umpire, you should signal and call no ball. Once the ball has passed the boundary, you signal 4 and then no ball again.
Fantastic when it comes to the no ball part. So it is above the waist height, so it is a no ball. With regards to the implementation of warnings, how would you go about that part with being either umpire or perhaps
If you deem it to be dangerous, then I suppose you warn the batsman, the bowler. But if it's a ball that's just been mistakenly bowled slightly above waist height, signal no ball. Maybe you have a word with the bowler, just say don't keep it lower.
Good field technique came in there. I will just go to Dawood quickly before coming to you. I remember, guys, when it comes to what Dullah said, just break up playing conditions and law. Remember, just keep that in mind. Whereas playing conditions state that if it's in the batsman's bubble, if it's directed at the batsman, if it's in his area, in inverted commas, just make sure that we know that. And law states that it is above waist height, irrespective of whether it was directed at the batsman or not. Dawood, would you like to come in? Do you have something?
Yeah, so I think with this question, Jooms, Okay, so a 3-day game is bowled by a fast bowler, which is a full toss directed at the striker. So the question here, I think, we say that it was directed. So obviously it's a full toss, like my colleague Nikhil said. It was okay. So he handled that part, but as I say here, it's at the ball, so it would be dangerous. I'm hoping this is correct, but so if I break that up above waist height, which is hit by the striker. Okay, so above waist height directed at the bowler, so that would be no ball, would be regarded as dangerous, and that would be so a first warning issued to the bowler, because obviously the umpire would have regarded that to be would have inflicted injury as well to the batsman. So I'll obviously also inform my colleague about it, the captain about it as well, and the batsman. And obviously the caution will also basically apply to the bowler throughout the innings. And obviously, if he does it again, then he'll be off the attack.
Hey, Cindy.
We are stating the law here, so whether it was directed at the striker or not, one would have to issue a first and final warning to separate it from any playing conditions that we might have. So the law is if it's above waist height, the bowler will get a first and final warning. And the second time he does it, whether it's directed at the striker or not, the captain will be advised to take him off.
Hey, Nikhil, well done. Call and signal no ball, because any delivery will pass or would have passed without pitching above the waist side of the striker standing upright at the popping crease is to be deemed dangerous and unfair, whether or not it is likely to inflict physical injury on the striker. So that's where playing conditions now come in, where they speak about infliction of physical injury. I think someone is not on mute still, but not. Oh, there we go. Popping crease, it is to be deemed dangerous and unfair, whether or not it is likely to inflict physical injury on the striker. If the bowler bowls such a delivery, the umpire shall immediately call and signal no ball. When the ball is dead, guys, remember it can be any umpire in this sense. It doesn't particularly say that the umpire. Yes, the square leg or the strikers and umpire is in a better, maybe something in a better position. But guys, sometimes you do lose it in the background. For example, you could sometimes just lose the sight of the ball. But that's where teamwork sometimes come in. You could have just been distracted at that ball. We all human, things happen. So an umpire can call and signal no ball. When the ball is dead, the umpire shall caution the bowler, indicating this is a first and final warning. The umpire shall also inform the other umpire, the captain of the fielding side, and the batters of what has occurred. This caution is applied to the bowler throughout the inning. So well done, Dawud and Nikhil. Well done. You guys work together in that instance. And that's why, guys, you have a colleague. You may not remember everything on the field of play. In that particular instance, you may not remember the whole part of, or you may remember part of a law. For example, in the previous question we did where the batters decide who's on strike, for example, in deliberate obstruction or distraction, etc. So you may not remember that, but your colleague may remember that. So that's why, guys, just consult, just confirm, hey, yes, I agree with you. I also deem it dangerous, or whatever the case may be. And we're going with the no ball, or you've already signal no ball. And when you're informing each other, hey, you know what, good job, correct. I also think it was above waist height. So even if you as a square leg or strikers and umpire call no ball for above waist, and now you're just tap him and say, yeah, well done. I think that is brilliant. Good call. All right. And then obviously the bowler's caution will apply throughout the innings. All right, I've just swapped over onto my cell phone connection, so I trust it's still good. Okay, the signal no ball to the scorers. Wait for the acknowledgement. Signal the boundary 4. Well done, Nikhil. You will wait for as in terms of your signaling now. So no ball. Signal no ball again if you'd like, you do. It's a double signal. Sometimes you do. So no ball. Wait for the signal. Drop your hand 4, and then no ball again. And then if it's I think it's a 3-day game, but in 1-day cricket we know what to do thereafter. And then field technique, just show 4 balls left, either on your waist or on your side, to state that there's 4 balls left to your colleague. All right, question number 3. I trust it's come up. During the morning session of the 3rd day of a 3-day game, you notice a striker running straight down the middle of the pitch. A, what action will you take if there's any? The over after lunch on day 3, you notice a shot. Sorry, this is another question. So let's go back. Sorry, I thought there was part B. During the morning session, so I'll just repeat the question. During the morning session on the 3rd day of a 3-day game, you notice a striker running straight down the middle of the pitch. What actions will you take, if any? Cindy, would or Dawood, your hand is up. Have a crack at it.
No. So sorry. I think you can go on to Cindy. It's fine. Mine was up from before.
Cindy, would you, since you're joining us this evening, would you like to? There's only between Dawood and Nikhil. I can't pick drama, unfortunately.
No, but they're welcome to answer the questions because it's part of their course, and I'm observing and learning more. So if one of them want to take it, they're welcome to.
Dawood, would you and Nikhil like to? So now, Dawood, you can go first, then Nikhil, you can take question part B.
Okay, let me just break this down. During the morning session, 3rd day of a 3-day game, you notice a striker running straight down the middle of the pitch. So if I notice the striker running straight down the pitch, and if I find it to be deliberate, that he's running straight down the pitch, I would warn him. Yeah, so I'd warn him of. Actually, it'll be a first warning for obviously running down the pitch, and I think it will be the first and final warning, Jooms, if I'm not mistaken. But I think, okay, I'm going to go with first and final warning, which will apply to him throughout the innings. Yeah. So, and so if there's any, sorry. So if it's a batsman who's doing it, then obviously it'll apply to the batting team, and if a wicket falls, also, then you will obviously apply. So the incoming batsman will also have that warning to them as well. And if I think now, if it's obviously happens again, you will obviously disallow any runs that takes place. Then you also return the batters to the original end. If there are any, if there are any wides or no balls, that will obviously stand. Okay, I mentioned you'll obviously disallow any runs. You'll award 5 penalty runs. Obviously, I must have, sorry. You will award 5 penalty runs. What other?
Which one would you apply for 5 penalty runs on, part A or part B?
No, so you mean on the warning?
So you've obviously warned him the first time.
Sorry,
before lunch.
No, so you warned him the first time, yes.
Can you see him doing it again? Would you then award the 5 penalty runs in part B?
Yeah, so you not on the first. The first one is obviously a warning.
Correct.
The second one will obviously be where you will award the 5 penalty runs.
Okay. Then part C. Since you're on a roll, maybe you can take the whole question. Part C, 2 overs before the drinks break in the middle session. On the second ball of the over, the non-striker, so it's perhaps the same two batters, they forming a partnership. After turning for the third run straight down the middle of the pitch.
Okay, so 2 overs before. Okay, the over you notice the striker running down. Yeah, so okay, so the 2 overs you notice the striker running straight down the pitch. Okay, then
that's the
part.
fluff.
So we're doing part C now, right?
Yes. So that's the fluff.
Okay.
When it happens, it happened after part A and part B. So now, whether it's before drinks or after drinks, it's irrelevant in a way.
Okay, so now part A tells us we've already given him a warning. Part B tells us that you notice the striker running straight down the pitch. So that's now obviously the second warning. Sorry, not the second one. It's the second time that he has done it, and you obviously awarding 5 penalty runs. 2 overs before. Okay, so part C now. 2 overs before the drinks break in the middle session on the second ball of the over, the non-striker, after turning for the third run, runs straight down the pitch. Okay, so basically he could be running 3, 4, even 5. It doesn't make a difference because you're disallowing runs. So there'll be no runs that yeah, so you disallow all runs. You award 5 penalty runs again. Sorry, so you award 5 penalty runs, and yeah, I can't think of anything else, James.
Hey, it is unfair to cause deliberate or avoidable damage to the pitch if the striker enters the protected area in the playing or whilst playing the ball. At the ball, he or she must move from it immediately thereafter. All right, so that's obviously like a double step or even going for a shot. A batter will be deemed to be causing avoidable damage if either umpire considers that his or her presence on the pitch is without reasonable cause. In part A, you'll have a stern word with both batters and inform them that they are causing avoidable damage to the pitch. Inform them that you will take action if it happens again, and you will inform your colleague of the conversation with you and the batters. Part B, warn both batters that practice is unfair and indicate this is a first and final warning. This warning shall apply throughout the innings. The umpire shall also inform each incoming batsman. So again, guys, remember what Dula said, work with the batters. So you'll have a stern word. It's, guys, get off. I told you to get off, or I've maybe told you once before, or even, guys, get off. You cannot be both doing it, or especially the striker, you cannot be doing it. Right, inform the captain of the fielding side of the warning, and as soon as accessible, the captain of the batting side. Will disallow all runs to the batting side. It's on both batters. He is original end. Dowd, I think you did say that, so well done. And award 5 penalty runs, which you did say. Okay, you'll award any other 5 penalty runs as well. Inform everyone and the reporting and the governing body. And number of balls left in the over. All right. So guys, remember, I'm gonna go back here. So in part A, you'd have a stern word with both batters and inform them that they are causing avoidable damage. Then thereafter, you'd say it's a first and final warning, and you would then inform each incoming batsman, and obviously you'll say to them. Part C, you'll disallow all runs to the batting side. Return both batters to his original end, award 5 penalty runs, and then inform the governing body of what has occurred. Abdullah, if you don't mind coming in, and apologies for keeping you. Would this sort of be part C alone, or could one also implement this in part B as well when it comes to disallowing runs and to the batting side?
Okay, Mohammed, can you go back to the question, please? So go 2 slides back.
No problem.
And while you go to the question, so earlier when I spoke about the bowlers running into the protected area, and there are times, you know, you have the law on one side, and in the law, it's nowhere in the law it states, you know, speak friendly warnings, you know, work with the bowlers, batters. Doesn't say anything. It just says if they're in a protected area, you know, you need to apply the law. Yeah, but you do need to work with bowlers. You do and the important thing is there are times where you need to be match aware, match savvy. You need to take the match situation into account and how you're going to deal with certain situations. So let's say it's a 3-day game. It's the first morning. It's the first morning of the game, and the batters runs in the middle of runs in the protected area. Are you going to go immediately, you know, first and final warning? No, no, you're not. You're not going to. First morning, why would the batting side want to run straight down the middle? Sometimes batters dozing off, batters looking at the fielders, not realizing. So in the first over, second over, first morning of the game, there's no real need for batters to run straight down. I don't think they want to run in the protected area to scuff it up. They just started their innings. Why would they want to scuff it up? So you'll be a bit, I would say, a bit more lenient. Let's say you'll just remind the batter, you're running straight down. Now it happens over 2 later, you say batter, you're running straight down. So the point I'm trying to make is early in the game, no need for the batting side to scuff it up. You'll be a bit more lenient. Now in this question, being a 3-day game, and it tells you this is the morning session of the 3rd day of the 3-day game. You notice the striker running straight down the middle of the pitch. So usually I would say this would be in the 3rd innings of the game. They on the verge of declaring and sending the opposing side into bat. So now there's a reason why they would want to scuff up this pitch to bring their spinners into the game. So using your match awareness, and this is also where you need to watch the batters more closely on let's say it's in this case a 3-day game. At the end of the 3-day game, morning, end of day 2, morning of day 3, in the 3rd innings, batters have a reason to scuff up the pitch because they've got spinners in their side. They want to scuff up the protected area to bring their spinners into the game. So your match awareness needs to kick in, and you need to watch the batsman much more closely than, let's say, the first morning of this particular game. So in this game, being the 3rd day, morning of the 3rd day, with the batting side, they're probably near to a declaration. Batters will purposefully try to scuff up that pitch. So now you're going to be much more stricter than in the first, compared to the first few overs of a 3-day game, or the morning of a 3-day game. So now your match awareness should tell you they're on the verge of declaring. They want to scuff off that pitch. I need to watch them, and I need to step in here immediately. So when you see it in the morning of day 3, when you see it, you're now not going to lightly tell the batters, you're running straight down. You will have a stern, that's why the answer says you'll have a stern word with the batters, because the match situation dictates that you now blow that whistle immediately. Have that stern word. Yes, it's the morning, it's the first time they're running in there, but you can have a stern word with them and not just a quiet word as you would have if it happens in the first over on the morning of day 1. Because now we will know what they're trying to do. They're trying to scuff up that pitch. So have a stern word and not a quiet word, because it's the first time today that they do it, but you're going to have now a stern word. So now that's the A portion, and that's why the answer had it. not a quiet word. You will have a stern word. You will tell them, I know exactly what's going on here. I know exactly what you're trying to do, and I'm watching you guys. Stay out of that protected area. They do it again later on. You've already now, had a stern word with them. Now you go into action immediately. You will now give them a first and final, and then later on they do it. You will now give the penalty runs, disallow all the runs, etc., etc. So the point I'm trying to make, there are times where you need to be, take the match situation into account, and your times you're going to have to be much firmer and stricter than other times. I mean, you can just imagine. Let's say it's the first over of the game, and the batters run in the protected area, and here you give a first and final warning. I mean, how is that going to go down with the batters and the batting captain? And also, I mean, if you just think, it makes no sense. There's no cricketing logic for the batters wanting to scuff off the pitch in the first over of the game, because they are still still going to have to bat for quite a while. There's no reason. But the situation changes if it's the third morning of the game and they're on the verge of declaring soon, and they're going to put in side B for their last innings on the final day of the match. Now you need to be much more aware and much more stricter than compared to the first morning of the game. I hope I made what I've explained is clear. If not, I'll do it again. Mohammed?
Thank you, Abdullah. Yeah, no, it has definitely, and I think we've all learned, and especially myself, when it comes to implementation of this, and when to have a stern warning or word, I should say, and when to have a quiet word. So just field technique is massive there. So thanks for that, Dula. We really appreciate it. You're right. Sometimes just throwing the raw book also just puts us on as umpires on the back foot, and that doesn't also bode us well for the rest of the game. You know, you sort of already under pressure as umpires, and doing something like that could put you even more on the receiving end, if I could say. Um, Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of our session for this evening, day 4. We will be doing day 5 on Thursday, the 15th, just to touch base with regards to a few revision questions. So all that we've gone through. I will email you guys tomorrow all the links again for the YouTube videos, which you can see and go through, as well as preparation for with this presentation for your exam. I do know that this weekend was a scheduled exam, but being a long weekend, many are away. So I will chat to the candidates as well as the ones from Western Province to schedule it for early next week. It will be in the email tomorrow. If you guys can give me a few dates that would work for you guys. I know it's end of the year, and hence I'd rather let's open the line of communication, and we can get a date for maybe later next week to give you guys enough and ample preparation. I will also send in the email a few revision papers that Dula has given us, which you guys can then also revise through. And as like I said, just keep an eye out for the mark allocation. So, ladies and gentlemen, I bring a close to this evening's session. Before I formally do close and end the recording, is there any questions from anyone on the phone? Nikhil and Dawood? Cindy, is there anything from your side?
No, thank you. Yeah, that was nice to hear everything again.
Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. And yeah, well done on your level 3 recently done via Western Province. We also thank Dula and Tom for ensuring that you guys are also part of the sessions. We really appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to close this session. Dula, would you do the honors to close the session?
Yeah, thank you so much, Mohammed. Yes, thank you for allowing me into your sessions. It was really enjoyable. Enjoyed the interaction from the attendees. please, whenever you have more sessions, invite me. I really enjoy sitting in these sessions. The questions, the interactiveness, I enjoy it. I also learn, so much. You'll be surprised. There's definitely in every session I do sit in, I do learn or do pick up one or two things. All the best for the exam. Unfortunately, I do have a prior commitment on Thursday evening, so I will not be able to sit in your revision session. But all the best for your exam next week. And my doors of communication are always open. My email, my phone number. If anyone has any questions, comments, feel free to contact me anytime. I'll gladly share my little knowledge that I do have and little experience that I have. I'll gladly share it with anyone. Daud, I see your hand is raised. Is that question for me or is it for Zuma?
Thanks, Mr. Siankam. No, it's not a question, but it's something directed to you, Mr. Abdullah. I think I speak firstly for myself, and I'm sure my colleagues here, and including our facilitator, Mr. Juma, would echo my sentiments. I think it's been nothing but absolute pleasure and such a huge benefit having you on board over these few sessions that we did have. For me personally, I think I've definitely learned and grown and taken out from what you've said, especially, I mean, is how to answer the questions and everything else with your knowledge that comes with it. Those who did the umpiring, those who did the level 3 with Western Province had nothing but excellent words to speak of you guys as well. I think I won't be wrong, and I don't think anyone will shoot me in the foot if I say, please, if ever you are in the area, especially in inland, please allow us to maybe share a cup of coffee with you or a meal as a token of appreciation from our side. It's an absolute pleasure, and I thank you a lot. Shukran for making the time. It's one is being up there in the panel, and one is obviously trying to ensure and upskill those who have the desire of wanting to be there. So I think from myself and obviously those who are on channel today, we really appreciate everything that you've done for us over the past few weeks. Thank you so much, and shukran.
You are most welcome. Yeah, anytime. My channels of communication are always open. You can WhatsApp me, email me, phone me anytime. It was my absolute pleasure. Looking forward sitting into more sessions. And also we do have a YouTube channel. When I say we, the Western Province Cricket Umpires Association, and there are lots recordings and videos and training material, and even we put all our level 1, 2s, and 3s lectures on there. So feel free to visit our YouTube channel. Listen to our training material, and there's lots of stuff on there. Yeah, all the best for the exam, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Once again, thank you so much, Mohammed. And I'll definitely take you up on a cup of coffee when I come to Maritzburg again. It's been a really long while. I think it was pre-COVID since I've been to Maritzburg. Just to let you know, the last time I was in Maritzburg, I've heard the umpire's room moved from one place to another. I was still, the last time I was there, I was still in that, where you go up the stairs and that clock tower type of building. That's the last time. I can't remember the new place, but I've heard you moved into the umpiring spaces into a new area below where the grounds staff is situated. So that's how long I've been to Maritzburg. So hopefully they send me there soon. Fingers crossed. But if they do, I'll definitely would love to meet everyone for a cup of coffee in, let's say, a mug and bean whenever I'm in the area, whenever I'm back into Maritzburg. Thank you, Mohammed. Over to you.
Thank you, Abdullah. Yeah, I actually remember that game when you came. I think it was raining and we went for Salah on that Friday. It was a Thursday, it was Sunday, it was a
Yeah,
Dolphins
it was
to
that. Yes,
Cobras.
yeah. You've got a good memory now. You've jolted my memory. You're correct. Yeah. It was that game.
I think it rained for like 3 days, and I remember everyone. So the Dolphins had their own vehicles, and they decided to every day just go back and come back. So I remember that was also a massive learning experience. So yeah, we hope to welcome you back soon. And but guys, I will also share, like Dula mentioned, and Cindy, we actually now that Dula mentioned about the Western Province having their own YouTube channel. I actually watched the interpretation of the wide ball. It was just a 20 to 30-minute session where Abdullah went with regards to the interpretation of the wide. And I remember we had this, and Dawood, you can come in here, and Nikhil, when we had this at our training day. So that's a fantastic tool, guys. I will share the link of the Western Province and just go back and listen on how the interpretation of the wide rule is now, and how it is with regards to playing conditions and stuff like that, and where to what extent the wide line moves, and to where to right to the return crease, etc., etc. So, yeah, guys. On that note, we will chat either tomorrow, but we look forward to meeting on Thursday, and have a fantastic evening, and see you all soon. Take care. Good night.
Yeah, good
Thanks,
night, everyone.
Jooms. Good
Bye.
night.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Cheers,
Bye.
Jim. Cheers. Bye.